Okay, here we are at the bottom of page 1 of 4.6. And at the beginning of the section, they're just going to give you some inequalities, meaning the equal sign has been replaced with either a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. They're going to give you a couple of ordered pairs, and your instructions are to determine if each ordered pair is a solution to the inequality, which means, does it work? A solution means it works, or it makes it true. So we're going to plug in and see if you get a true statement, then yes, it's a solution. If you get a false statement, then no, it's not a solution. Okay, so let's go with our first point here, x, y to negative 3. So we're going to check it out. We've got 3 times x minus 5 times y is greater than or equal to negative 12. I'm going to take my 2 value and plug it in for x. I'm going to take my y value of negative 3 and plug that in for x. Notice I take the entire value here. I ignore the signs I copied. I still have minus 5 times that entire piece. Okay. Now I go ahead and do the arithmetic that goes with that. 3 times, oh, and I'm just testing right now. I always try to remind myself what I'm doing as I'm going along. It's just so easy to kind of lose track. Get distracted, get pulled away from the problem for a minute. The problem's long enough, you forget what your goal is. So here I wrote in pink for myself what my goal is. I'm just plugging in. I'm seeing if it's true, yes. If it's false, no. That'll be my answer, what I do with it. And now I'm just reminding myself with this question mark, hey, I'm just testing this. Okay, so 3 times 2 is 6. Minus 5 times minus 3 is plus 15. And we're just checking to see if that's greater than or equal to negative 12. Keep going. 6 plus 15 is 21. And 21 greater than or equal to negative 12, that is a true statement. So yes, 2 negative 3 is a solution. Let's try this second point of 0, 0. And I'll draw this one down here. So I've got my 3 times x minus 5 times y is greater than or equal to negative 12. And I'm going to take my x value of 0 and my y value of 0 and plug them in for x and y and just remind myself that I'm testing. And I end up with 0 minus 0 is greater than or equal to negative 12. And so I get 0 is greater than or equal to negative 12. This is also a true statement. So yes, 0, 0 is a solution to this inequality. Now they aren't asking us to graph yet. They're just starting out. We're just plugging in, seeing if it works. Plug in, see if it works. Okay, let's do another set here. So again, I remind myself of my goal. I plug in and see if I get a true statement. My answer is going to be yes, it's a solution. If it's a false statement, my answer is going to be no. So I can use my little notes from the last one here. And I start with my first pair, x, y, negative 1, negative 1. And I come down here and I've got x is less than negative y minus 2. Notice with my placeholders here that negative comes straight down. I'm going to take my entire y value to plug it in. So there's no question what I'm doing here. I take my entire x piece and put it in where the x was. And I take my entire negative 1 for y, put it in where the y was. So I'm still subtracting the y value, or I'm taking a negative of the y value, a negative of a negative, because this says negative and this is negative, so there should be 2 of them here. And I just remind myself I'm trying to see if this creates a true statement, and what I get is negative 1 is less than negative 1 is a positive 1 minus 2, and that gives me a negative 1 is less than negative 1. Now here's a very, very interesting statement. These are actually equal. If this was an equation that I was trying to see if these were solutions, it would work. But this is not a true statement. Negative 1 is not less than negative 1, okay? We're not saying less than or equal to. Okay, so we don't have that option. So this is actually a false statement. So that means negative 1 is not a solution. What it does mean is that this point is on the line, but because of the less than, this line is dashed. the points are not included in the solution set. So that you're going to shade on one side. If we were to graph this, the line would be shaded on one side or the other. The line itself would be dashed because the solution set does not include those values directly on the line, because we don't have a less than or equal to sign. We just have a less than. Okay. Let's try the second point here, 0, 0. Again, we love plugging in 0, 0. Fairly easy. So we're going to put in x is less than negative y minus 2. And we're going to put in 0 for x and 0 for y and check to see if that works, and we get 0 is less than, negative 0 is just 0, 0 minus 2 is negative 2. 0 less than negative 2, this one also happens to be false. And this is just a coincidence that both of these first ones were true solutions and both of these were false. They won't always be the same. You might have one match and one not. So this is a false one as well, which means that 0, 0 is not a solution. And it's also not on the line because we didn't get a, oh, this would have been true if we had an equal sign. If it would have been true with an equal sign, that tells you that point is actually on the line that you would graph for this. But they didn't ask us to graph yet, so we aren't going to worry about that just yet. And now we're down here to some try problems. So they give you one point to plug in and see if it's true, then it's a solution, false, not a solution, and then one to try here. So it says or, so you can pick either one. You've got kind of this rearranged solve for x version here. You've got more of a standard version here. One is greater than or equal to, one is less than. Oh, it looks like I didn't copy the problems here. Oh, how funny. Okay, so give me just a moment here because we just did these ones up top. Oh, I know why. It's because we have two new points to try. So we're going to try these points in this same equation. Okay, phew. Sorry. I didn't realize that I'd put some fresh points there. So that's perfect. This will work fine. Go ahead and hit pause, come back, and we'll see how you did. Okay, so for number 4, no, 2, 8 is not a solution. And for number 8 here, yes, 4, negative 8 is a solution. Okay, and we'll go over the try problems thoroughly in class. We will see you at the top of page 2. Good job.